let the word spin. My peace isn't negotiable anymore. I choose slow love, sacred yeses, and a life that feels like honey on my skin. Because this isn't a new beginning, it's a return to everything I forgot I deserved. Luxury isn't loud anymore. It's knowing you can rest and still be worthy. All right, guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Cosmic Insight Astrology, and I am your co-pilot, Krisztina. Thank you so much again to being here with me, and I promise to you I will do a lot more forecast for you for each individual signs I'm going to address. I'm doing whole sign astrology, Western tropical whole sign astrology, and I truly into asteroids as well. So you're going to get a lot of knowledge if you are watching my channel. And for return, I would like you to ask to share that on social media and with your friends and subscribe and comment below. I'm going to try to answer everyone. You know, I'm an only person over here, and but still going to try to do my best to actually bring you amazing forecast and knowledge. And every single time I'm creating something, I'm creating a video for you. So today actually I'm here to talking about the Taurus New Moon in 6 degrees 5 minutes, and it's going to happen May 27th overnight. And we have to actually exam, talk about the moon itself, which is your subconscious, which is your feeling, your fears, the way you are mothering. It is the general public. It is also your dog as well. And it rules apples, and the new moon is always new beginning. It is when the moon and the sun merge together in heaven, and the lovers, the divine feminine and the divine masculine, the father and the mother, and they create a new beginning. It's a new seed that we are planting over here. And it's ruled by Venus, because Taurus rules the second house, and actually it's ruled by Venus, and Venus still in exaltation, because Venus is going to move April 30th to Aries, where she's going to be in detriment, but right now she's still in her temple, which is divine temple, where she feels beautiful and like a VIP over here. So we're going to talk about the fixed star, which is involved over here because of the new moon is going to happen on Hamal. And Hamal is not necessarily a good fixed star. And also we're going to talk about a few of asteroids, but I already was talking about those asteroids in my Pluto and Mars opposition, the last Pluto and Mars opposition, because actually the moon is going to happen just like 12 hours later than the opposition, when it's the opposition going to be exact. So, but we also going to talk about the Sabian symbols as well, and the Sabian symbol of 7-degree Taurus, because you always actually, going up a little bit, because it's 6 degrees 5 minutes, so you have to consider the 7 degrees Taurus Sabian symbol, which is a woman of Samaria at that ancestral well. And ancestral, it's something to do with traditions, it's something to do with divine truth as well, something which is actually sacred. And it's going to be a sacred turning point in our personal life and in the mundane, for the collective as well. Anything to do with cultures, anything to do inheritance, inherited beliefs as well, and also chosen consciousness as well. And the well itself, it's very deep, so it's representing a depth of knowledge, and the well is giving you water, right? So it's actually helping you with your thirst. So it could be like knowledge, the thirst for knowledge, but also spiritual, and it could be also like literal thirst as well. So we can see something around water regulation as well over here. But the symbolic layer, because we have some kind of biblical story behind this, because of the woman of Samaria is in the Bible, actually, in the biblical story, it's actually when she meets Jesus at Jacob's well, and she's a woman of ill repute and a Samaritan, actually. Who is an outsider and also, uh, an outsider to the dominant Jewish male paradigm. So, what's happening over here? She's still going to become one of the first to recognize the Christ as a spiritual force beyond dogma, right? And beyond any kind of social labor. And the Taurus theme over here is our physical needs as well. And water, which is the well, has the water in it, it is also a survivor itself because we need water to survive. But water also representing, washing the sin away. So this is really a spiritual awakening turning point for the collective here. And as I said, because of the well itself, it's really showing the emotional depth and the hidden knowledge and the ancestral well, the tradition, the heritage, which is in the past. And we're going to actually bring that forward. The past is going to help us actually, the hidden knowledge and the past going to help us to solve some kind of karmic issue collectively or some kind of emotional issue on personal level, right? So that is very, very important. And then we're going to move forward and we're going to talk about actually the 6 and 7 degrees new moon over here, which is the first decan. So it's going to get an extra Taurian and an extra Venusian flavor over here, So when we are talking about the Taurus moon, which is the moon is exalted over here, so it's a VIP in Taurus, right? And then we have to also talk about Taurus as well, because it's an Earth fixed sign. It's very hard for Taurus to change. Changes. He doesn't really like changes, and Taurus rules the second house, which is anything to do with your food, with your hidden gift, with values, morals, and your earnings itself. And also, the moon, we were talking about the subconscious, the way you are mothering yourself. That is your feelings, your tears as well. And because of Venus also in exalted position in Pisces, both of them are having like some kind of spiritual, very, very exalted experience, which is like they are high on emotions, right? So they are high on love, for example, both of them. Venus in exaltation is, like physical pleasures and sensuality and the spirituality as well. And so as moon, but moon really wants in Taurus emotional security and wealth and material, luxury and comfort. So very important for it. Very, very deeply actually rooting into physical words, moon in Taurus, in exaltation. And why Venus in Pisces exaltation, it's more like spiritual. So, but by energy, they are sextiling. And sextile is also a Venusian in flavor, not by degree, but by energy. By science, it's a sextiling. So it is bringing in extra love, for example, for us. And, because of Taurus is a fixed earth sign, Taurus is really unshakable, fertile, because Venus is really fertile, and Taurus is patience as well. And, Venus itself is love, beauty, and material abundance itself, because it's also currency, rules currency. But Taurus itself rules the throat chakra, your vocal truth, your values, and your ownership. What do you own, actually? And Taurus loves, actually, loyalty, comfort, and luxury, and also stability as well. So, both of them in their temple, but Venus in Pisces and Taurus, Moon in Taurus as well, but it is a temple of luxury and where they really, really feel they are so loved, and there is a lot of pleasure for both of them in their exaltation sign. So what you also have to know about Taurus, in the sign of Taurus, Uranus is in fall, and right now Uranus is traveling through Taurus for a long time already. It's going to set his feet into Gemini, where he's going to be very comfortable in July 7th for a little bit. Then it's going to return Taurus late degrees, and in 2026 gonna leave Taurus and not gonna come back here for another 84 years. But in Taurus, it's in fall, right? And Mars actually is the planet that is in detriment in Taurus, right? So, yes, so what's going to happen over here with it? So, the moon really thrives over here, and the moon is really seeking security, emotional security. On the other hand, you also have to know what does Taurus rules. Taurus rules the farmland, the meadow as well. Taurus is the gardener of value, the earth priestess, and also the sacred cow as well. Especially the moon in Taurus right now, because it's in exaltation, like temple and very divine, and embodies actually the divine feminine over here. So that is the sacred cow, because obviously the second house rules the beef sales on stock, or the cows itself. But because of Venus, which rules Taurus, is also the currency in astrology. So actually in Taurus, the moon in Taurus could be, and Taurus itself could be the money collector. Someone who is a builder, but those people who going to collect money, even it could be associated sometimes with mafia, but it could be the pawn shop owner who is giving out money and getting a lot more back in return. So the collector over there. But Taurus rules the vocal cord, and Taurus likes all the senses. It's very tangible, likes the tangible energies, right? The sensual anchor for us, the touchstones, and the singer, your vocal cord, anything to do with your it loves, for Taurus, for example, cryptocurrency. That's why Uranus is in fall over here. So a lot of Taurus people doesn't like, for example, cryptos, because they really like to have tangible wealth. For example, owning lands and houses and buying real gold or silvers, it's very important for them. And the second house also, we were talking about that, that's your self-worth. It is gift, some kind of gift, but you didn't know you have, but you can maybe have a sidekick of money out from your gift. And, it's also your survivor, but, also luxury as well, and ownership, and not just ownership of, anything to do with material ownership over here. Taurus loves actually pleasure, but also love to be financially protected as well. Taurus definitely not fast. So Taurus thinks, slowness is a power over here, and patience is a power. And Taurus could be very, very loyal as well. Taurus never chased anything. It loves to receive. It doesn't love sudden change and detachment and, chaos. And right now Uranus is over there, which is actually detachment, change, and sudden change and chaos. And that's why Uranus in Taurus, it's in fall, because Taurus absolutely hates that qualities that Uranus has over there. And the second house and Venus and Taurus actually, the keyword of Taurus over here, I have, they must have. They love luxury. They love, comfort and peace. They like their possessions. But, if they're actually a Venus is badly affected, or the cusp of Taurus, or your second house is badly aspected in your chart, actually you can have that kind of fear of loss all the time, even if you have a lot of money. And those people could become hoarders. It's very hard for them to let go, for example. All right, and then we know the planet of Venus in astrology is love, beauty, pleasure, anything to do with values, harmony, art, money, self-worth, and relationship, and peace as well, in the seventh house, right? Because it rules Taurus in the second house and the Libra in the seventh house, right? It's grace. It's actually connections with others, because also relationships and social grace as well. And it's divine love, especially in exaltation in Pisces, it's divine love and universal compassion and the transcendence. But if it is in detriment, right, in Aries and Scorpio, it is the love that burns or controls. For example, in Scorpio, someone who is very manipulative and controlling, or in Aries, which is like just, me, I need the love. And it is actually in fall in Virgo, but, in Virgo, Venus can really over-sacrifice and be the martyr over there, and totally overthink and perfectionist and never happy. Venus loves to attract, but also likes to harmonize, because it's representing peace and receive, and definitely soften everything, because Venus is the feminine divine, right? And in mythology, Venus is Aphrodite, right? Aphrodite, who actually was born from the sea form of Uranus's genitals, So the pleasure emerging from chaos. And, she chooses love for its freedom, not for function. And she is really, the power actually in her allure, and also how she values herself. In global expression, Venus actually in Egyptian mythology is Hathor, which is love, music, intoxication, and divine femininity. And in Sumerian, it's Inanna, which is like the distant shadow, right? It's reclaiming power through beauty and depth. And then it's also representing Freyja in Northern mythology, and it is magic and fertility, and also passion and battle as well. Actually, Venus is the through duality, representing the through duality, just like the North and South node in our life, because Venus has the Lucifer morning star and also the evening star. It's representing the yin and yang in our life. And in Vedic, actually, Venus is Lakshmi, and it is prosperity, abundance, and sacred devotion to pleasure. And in Aztec, for example, it's represent flowers and female creation power and art. And they named her actually Xochiquetzal. And it's written very weirdly, but the Aztecs actually, the X is Esh. For example, I learned that when I went to Mexico, we went to Hoblox, but it's the Aztec says, the Mayan and Aztec says it's Hoblosh. So yes, it's Xochiquetzal. So, all right, and then we're going to also talk about what does it mean in your chart, value to attract and also express pleasures, and your love language, for example, the way you create harmony and peace in your life. Because of Venus is the witch, attracts what others chase, and the artist, which is creates beauty that seduce the soul, and the lover, which is, draws in presence, and the queen receives without begging. The muse, who is actually inspires and the peacemaker, right? Who actually turns conflict into connection. The shadow of Venus, obviously, especially when it's in detriment, very, very manipulative and people pleasing and, vanity, codependency, anything to do with measuring worth by beauty and status. And believe me, I do have a lot of Taurus around me, so as my children as well. But, and my husband is a Taurus rising, and they don't have that kind of shadow side. Martin does, unfortunately. Martin is very fixed and Leo rising, Leo moon, and Taurus sun, and he could actually have some kind of measuring worth actually in money and status. So I have to teach him and remind him the real value of authenticity, and money is not everything. So also Venus also could love addiction and emotional manipulation, especially in Scorpio, and in Virgo over sacrificing. Like and in actually exaltation in Pisces, it could be still very foggy and confusing sometimes, even if it's in exaltation, but it also could be the devoted, totally compassionate person over here who gives us everything, all kind of pleasure to serve actually humanity and the underprivileged. So yes, it could be. And the Taurus moon is nurtured through food, for example, especially because it's in exaltations, right? But unfortunately, the negative sides, because Taurus is fixed sign and earth sign, it could hold on to grief, and it could actually be in the human body. When you are keeping the pain in the pain body, we call it the pain body. But definitely resist emotional drama, because the moon likes sometimes drama. It likes to have you know tears and too much emotion, because it rules Cancer, right? But in Taurus, it is like, what now? I need my comfort. I need no drama in my life, and I need consistency. I need to have good foods, good friends, and good drinks around me, and comfy tables, comfy bed. That is the moon in Taurus. It's protective though, but very, very slowly trusting. It doesn't trust right away, for example. And the shadow of this, for example, like it could stack, if it's badly aspected, it could stack with fears, for example, and fear of change, the most important over here, and also hold on to grief as well, or hurt, and fearing to let go. And also it could bring in some kind of passive aggression over here as well, because of, especially when the boundaries are crossed, because of Taurus doesn't like that whatsoever. All right. And then, also because of the second house is anything to do with finances, right? It governs the money, the assets, the possessions, the earned income that you have. And the gift as well, what we were talking about, but definitely it's financial axis over here. And we're going to talk about, because we need to know those keywords, because when we are talking and interpreting a chart, a recent chart, we have to know what are we actually basing our interpretation on, or prediction on. For example, during this new moon, I advise you to use some kind of rituals. And if you know me, I always actually do a meditation end of my videos, for example, for the lunation, only for the lunation. But during this new moon, you can drink rose tea, or anything to do with use, for example, fruity or flowery essence, not just for your teas, but also perfumes as well. Very, very important. And you can do some kind of grounding work. You can plant a seed. You can go into your garden and get connecting with the garden. You can go to butterfly museums. Actually, we are going on the new moon, and you know what I'm doing? Because you can order actually like 1,000 of, what is that? Not dragonfly, ladybugs. And ladybugs is good for your gardens, because of they are capable to eat the lice of the flowers, right? And the fleas and everything. So what we are doing during the new moon, but you can do during new moon or full moon in May, you can actually let go of the ladybugs, because if you believe it or not, you can actually keep your ladybugs in your freezer and let it go during this time, and it is going to help you to with your gardening as well. So get rid of, the parasites, for example, of your garden. But for example, Taurus also, I mean, honey, it's very Venusian, but because sugary, right? But also honey, also the Aztec and Mayans used it like gold. It has the value of gold. So also rules Leo as well. But you can do something like make a cookie with honey, with cinnamon figs. The apple itself, it's an apple pie. Honey cinnamon apple pie, for example, could be really great during this time. And the crystals, Venus, Venetian stones, emerald, which is, your heart chakra, also jade, the green jade, for example. But jade actually, it's really good for soul protection, but also wealth and also longevity as well, and health. And rose quartz for love and peace. And, usually I'm chanting during this time, and I always chant for other people first and for work peace. I always. And because Venus is in Pisces in exaltation, which is compassion, definitely, it is really good to actually do a meditation for work peace or chanting and praying for work peace. Whatever is your religion, I support that. It's you can do some kind of earth offerings, and because of April 22nd was the birth, the Earth Day over here, and the new moon is really close to the Earth Day. Why not? Why not to do some kind of Earth magic over here? But you can do money magic as well during this time. You can do a wealth vase, and you can actually check that out on Google. I do actually Feng Shui wealth vase, and that's how they call it, Feng Shui wealth vase. And check it out how you do that. And during this time, it could be really good. Or because it's new seeds, just do a vision board, whatever you want to achieve financially, for example, and like supportive, the luxury in your life, and comfort and safety, because second house also safety as well. And the moon is itself safety of your family as well. And during this time also, Uranus is traveling with this moon as well. And as I said, Uranus is destruction and chaos. And Uranus also crypto and AI and anything to do with technology. So, over here actually tech meets land, farming, and it is also rules the financial system as well, but somehow the technology, the farming going to be technology ruled within half year. Why within half year? Because this is a new moon. It is just going to start the story, and it's going to unfold within actually in half year. So when we're going to have the Taurus full moon, then it's going to be Scorpio season, then it's going to unfold by that time. And Uranus also rules earthquakes as well, anything to do with neurological issues as well, and it could be literal or spiritual as well, the earthquakes. So it's awakening us, and it is the sacred rebellion here. Yeah, so, but the other thing what you really have to know, when the new moon happening, it is actually initiation and resetting or life. And it could be something with some kind of like a wealthy timing for us, something to do with money. Maybe we're going to see in the market some kind of good opportunities, but definitely because of the market was crashed intentionally right now, which is affected the whole entire world. It is a good buying time, guys, no matter what, because, even if they want to actually, and they crashed because of they want to go forward to cryptocurrency, when you are watching me for a long time, I told told you guys, we are moving forward to crypto. And as they say, they don't want to actually tax Bitcoin or crypto, but they're going to centralize it. And if they're going to centralize it, they can manipulate us. And eventually, some way, it will be not maybe the earnings going to be taxed, but when you are buying with it and selling whatsoever, or purchasing anything with it, it will be taxed. So they want to centralize it. All right. And I'm going to actually also, we're going to go to mundane perspective, but I also going to bring up some chart, just randomly share it with you guys. And we're going to see, what does it going to do on the market, or in the US, or, in some kind of countries. I just quickly, the next half year, what's going to happen during this time, All right. So, definitely it's attracts some home money. And, Venus in actually what is that, in exaltation, it is the ability to attract and not chase, right? And also it's going to help you to reclaim your belief system about money. So it's going to be like, okay, somehow you're going to get back your power, and you are going to be more calm, even to invest, more grounded as well. Or you can, start something. For example, a lot of people going to start gardening right now, and Uranus is going over here. So, we will see. All right. So the other thing what I wanted to say, we're going to actually talk about the fixed star Hamal over here, because Hamal actually it's in 7-8 degrees in Taurus, and the what is that? The new moon is going to happen at 6 degrees 5 minutes. And it is an orange star. It is actually the constellation of Aries, and that is the ram, and that is the head first attack, actually the forehead of the ram, right? Uh, and for example, in Mesopotamian myth, Aries was linked to the agriculture and seasonal cycle as well, the birth of the spring. But for example, Hamal, not only willpower and independence, but also strategic aggression as well. And unfortunately, in linked to violence and confrontation and bold leadership, and something to do with military success, right? But it's a violence success because it's rage and stubborn pride as characteristic, like very, very destructive energy. And if you are actually reading, Hamal, Hamas, right? And it's also the new moon also going to happen on a fixed, not fixed star, but an asteroid Isis. And Isis is actually the feminine divine, right? It's right now transiting 5 degrees Taurus, okay? But Isis is ISIS, right? It is, so in astrology, I told you many times, it's totally not linked to the terrorist group. However, I can't stop thinking, because we have Pluto Mars opposition the same time. And Pluto is in Aquarius, which is ruled by Saturn and Uranus, and very destructive energy. It's terror attack. It's something to do with nuclear power and nuclear bombs as well. So, and because of Hamal, violence as well, and some kind of military success over here. So, it could definitely create some kind of terror attacks as well, right? All right. So it is, like some kind of unshakable, bad, scenario here. And then we have to talk about then, oh, and there is actually an other fixed star, but the other fixed star is Schedir, but it's only in 2 to 4 degrees Taurus. And, I still going to, it's a pale orange color, and the Queen of the Throne, for example, that is the constellation. And that is still going to give us energy for the new moon over here. So it is the queen herself was immortalized in the sky forever, upside down in the northern sky. All right. So actually, it's remind us for the maternal pride. So, all right, but we have to know about that over here. It could be associated with dignity and command, but command through female power and female presence in public standing. Something to do also with vanity and excessive pride as well, and superficial charm, which could be misused, It could be some kind of visible influence, but some kind of manipulation over here. And then when we move forward over here, then we also have to talk about, the asteroid Hecate and Isis and karma here. Because of we going to have karma in Leo, so actually it's going to square with karma, asteroid karma, and it's going to oppose Hecate in Scorpio. And obviously, it is conjuncting Isis. But with Isis, we already talked about that. It's also the divine feminine rises, a feminine healer or a feminine leader, for example, who take over from a male. It could happen. But, new moon square with karma in Leo, a leader is a fall and a king is falling or die, and because of some kind of karmic issues over there, and karma going to page justice, and also because of Hecate is the mystic. Also, it could be, the black magic as well. And it's in Scorpio. Scorpio is anything about Hades and depth of knowledge or occult. So it could be like the power is taking over through some kind of, magic. I mean, not magic. I'm not gonna say it's magic, but something what we don't see coming, because it was very sacred, it was very secretive, and it was very well manipulative as well. So a female could take over a male position in the family as well. You can think of your family as well at your work as well. Uh, somebody is taking over, but a female going to rise, for example. And this is definitely the secret family. It's going to be restored over here, right? And yeah, so that's what it is. Let me see, somebody just called me. All right, so then we're going to actually Hecate over here also representing you. We have to confront our shadows for sure. Because of, Hecate is actually the witch at the crossroad and the keeper of the thresholds and choices and the gate between life and death. And it's in Scorpio, right? That's why. So Scorpio is a lot of shadow work over there. For example, it could bring in some kind of, um, like good news about sex trafficking. For example, people who Epstein files, anything to do with Didi, or anything to do with, pedophile issues could come onto the surface right now. Yes, and then we're going to actually go and see how can actually this work out for the global, for the collective, right? So, for example, it could be something to do with, because it's also conjunct the fixed star Schedir over here, which is the Queen Hearts. So dignity, feminine leadership, ancestral wisdom, anything to do with land healing and public influence without arrogance. So a woman, a prime minister or tribal leader, anybody in Africa, Latin America, in the Pacifics, a radical peace-based land reformation could come, for example, through a female, leader. It could be like many places we're going to have a matriarch as the first person of the nation. And there could be also a lot of female activism as well, which is going to call for justice And it could be like if you, something to do with the indigenous women, because there was, especially in America, the US, we have a lot of women who disappears and there is no justice for them. So it could be like we are creating something for indigenous women leaders who are actually capable to find and give closure for the families, for these missing women over here. It could be also like, the story about India, because there is a very high rape going on over there, and there is a whole entire woman army who are actually beating up the men who are actually raping and abusing women. So we can see the women's rising as well. And it could be also something to do with, some kind of royal woman, somebody who is a princess, get some kind of public support as well. So, for example, Kate Middleton, she had cancer, right? Maybe she will actually either returning and she will become a queen because of, we know a father going to be overthrown by a son. So and it's not necessarily overthrown, right? But maybe because Charles has cancer and has to resign, and then William going to take over. But then I think William is going to be the last, and then Kate Middleton could become, the queen very, very soon, within 6 months over here. But also it could be some kind of a lot of feminine archetype going to emerge from in media and cinema, right? So that could be also, and also it could be some kind of karmic explosion of wealth and hoarding, and it could be hoarded by the elites, land grabs, for example, anything to do with for example, they bought something where, and they think they are entitled to have that land, but it is actually belong from the public, and they're going to lose the public trust, and it's gonna go back actually to the public, and it's not going to privatize at all. So yes, it could happen as well, and. But because we also have Pandora over here, because Pandora is actually in Leo 2 degrees, so the moon also going to square with that. Definitely, it could be something to do with some kind of shocking leak, like some papers or global celebrities or influencers or monarch or the children of the presidents, and they own something, a territory, something which is belong from indigenous people, and right now they have to give it back to where it's belonged from. Yes, so that is what's going to happen during this time. And the elite figure, for example, someone from Rockefellers or Larry Flink, I don't know, just connected to, or some kind of mogul, tech mogul, could actually lose public favor as well, right? Because of they did something against the public, maybe something against the farmers because of because Uranus also traveling with the moon over here, and it's in fall, and Uranus is actually the tech moguls, right? So. And in Taurus, it's the farmers, and they wanted to actually technology, overtake of, the way they are going to actually create food. It could be through some kind of genetically modified, also the meat grown in labs, and then the farmers going to be cut out from here, from this cycle, and then they are not capable to earn money. So, and if the people going to know about that, they're going to protest against that. And don't forget, America gonna have Uranus return very soon after July. So we're going to have a civil war in America. Wonderful. I mean, that is just terrible. Okay. So, and then the other thing is, it could be like, because of that could be something to do because it's Venus's exaltation, Moon is exaltation. It could be something to do with and it's conjunct with Isis, so definitely something to do with wisdom and. Instead of technology, because Uranus is in fall, so we overthrow the tech mogul, and instead of that, we wanted to go back actually to sacred farming, anything to do with rituals, for example, forgotten languages with the land itself. And we want to do something, for example, which is combined with moon calendar, like check the astrological aspect actually with planting, just like or ancestors, anything to do with the lunar calendar would be really, really great during this time. New educational platform also could emerge because of, don't forget, this is anything to do, and the educational platform could be led by women. We have a lot of female energy, the moon and Venus itself, and which is actually, could combine permaculture with ancestral medicine over here and spiritual mentorships as well. And it's going to maybe some kind of Amazonian tribes or in someone in West Africa can actually receive some kind of global support as well, right? During this time. And also, it could be some kind of tension around food supply, and it could escalate right now. And obviously, with this whole entire shit show with the tariffs and, okay, are we going to put a tariff on who and what and withdraw it, or what about China, and that's intentional market manipulation, which is criminal, by the way, but, it could be some kind of disruption around, food supply because Taurus rules food supply. But also because of Uranus is in fall over here, and Uranus is earthquake, guys, and we're going to definitely have a lot of earthquakes here, and it could actually create some kind of issues with even the transport of the food as well. So yes, it could also bring in some kind of crop failure as well, right? Or we might going to depend on technology, right? The food gonna depend on technology, as we don't want to, because we want to go back to the sacred feminine. We want to do the rituals what our ancestors did, but somehow because of the maybe that it's going to be a war-driven crisis or scarcity or anything to do with, earthquake and agriculture issues. That's why we will have to move forward and go to food technology. But also, I would say there be a lot of women going to start gardening. I truly, truly will feel that. And, we also, because Uranus is over here and it's a new moon, so the next half year you're going to see a lot of farmers riot, for example, and they can blockade cities, because of they don't want to have that kind of seed monopoly, or that kind of lab-grown meat. And do you know, in Iceland, actually, in the Arctic, actually, we do have every single seed it's stored over there. So we have a few seeds from every single corpse actually we had, and we grew on Earth yet. And sometimes I'm wondering because the ice is melting. There is a climate change over here, and I'm wondering, why Trump wants to go in Iceland. And obviously, there is some kind of resource source, like oil or gas, natural gas, or what knows, who knows. Because if the ice is melting, then they can see that what is underneath, actually the ice, what kind of source is underneath, and maybe lithium. And we need that for technology or maybe for warfare, who knows? But they found something over there what he really wants, right? So So that's why. And, we also have all the seeds over there stored. So who knows? But, it could be also because of Venus is during this time, it's exalted in Pisces, and Pisces is compassion and also mass grief as well, mourning. And, because of the moon is exalted in Taurus and it's the earth, mourning the earth somehow, or it could be just like compassionate people because of there is a lot of destruction, there is earthquake, there is, like wars in the Middle East and also, all over Yemen. And, there is a lot of African countries, but we are not talking about like, and come on, it's still very destructive energy. And yes, so if you're looking at the news, sometimes I have to turn it off. I love to look at the news and read because I want to be updated about everything, but sometimes I'm so overstimulated and I'm so upset. And then I just actually put up the two little rabbits drinking coffee, and it's AI generated, but they have very cute face, and I love beautiful faces for some reason, very symmetrical bunnies. And I'm just sitting over there drinking my coffee and looking out of my head because I don't want to think of death and destruction and earthquake anymore, and people who are abusing their powers because I totally hate them. And, I am like, okay, I just gonna look at these bunnies. And my children are coming out from the room and they are like, Mommy, you all right? Because it is weird, you're just sitting over there half an hour already just looking at your rabbits. And I was like, yeah, I'm totally fine. I need this. I don't want to think. So yes, you don't want to actually have that scenarios, sometimes it helps me to relax. But definitely, it could be some kind of compassion toward to genocide, people who are killed every single day, and the female power is rising during this time, and compassionate and sacred energy. You will see a lot of people who are actually right now, even if their voice are shaken, because Taurus rules your voice as well, and even if your voice are shaken, you're still going to actually be there and talking the truth. And that is very, very important during this new moon, right? And as I said, because Isis is over there, which is the feminine divine, Venus is feminine, the moon is feminine. This is and actually the Pisces, because of Venus is in Pisces, and Pisces is the eternal womb, it's the divine womb over there. So it is actually. All right, I had to pause because George came in. We have the office together, and came in a little bit bothering me. But I really, guys, want to buy a home right now, but has a bigger yard, and I can have a little container house outside for me. It's $8,000 to $10,000 with meditation room, and nobody gonna bother me over there. So hopefully when North Node and Jupiter going to trine for me in September, I'm going to be able to do that, and I can bring you everything without disruption over here. So sorry about that, but yeah. So let's go back actually to the feminine divine over here. Definitely, I was talking about Venus in Pisces in exaltation, which is the high priestess over there, is the divine womb and the divine mother. So actually, the forgotten woman is going to become central and sacred during this time. So that is definitely, we will see a lot of women leaders rise. And also, it could be something to do because of that is Taurus itself, it's art, and Venus in Pisces, it's art as well. So we could have some kind of global art exhibition, right? Anything to do with Mary Magdalene, for example. And it's not going to be, for example, um, mm, show as a prostitute in the art, but it's going to be shown like someone who is spiritual. It's someone who is a priestess over here, someone who is actually the divine female, right? And it could be also some kind of documentaries, for example, anything to do with controversial films as well, and streaming them, anything to do with the sacred feminines, like icons, right? And, also, for example, it could be documentaries about underprivileged people as well. And, they can actually, and it's going to be a lot of female who going to go to get some kind of award, and um, we are going to be compassionate against them. And I wanted to mention that here, because yesterday I was watching the news again, and there was a Palestinian 25 years old woman who just actually won an award, and with actually a documentary, and it was she was working with an Iranian woman who lives in France, and that woman with the whole entire family got killed, like 10 people in Palestine, in Gaza, 2 days ago. It was very, very sad, but she was documenting actually the occupation and, what's happening in Gaza right now. And it became a beautiful, beautiful film, which actually get an award. And unfortunately, she's not able, even because she was talking about that, like, or maybe she can get some permit to leave Gaza and go when they're going to actually have the award, given the award, but maybe she won't be able to, but she is not, because she's dead right now at this moment. But all right, and it was very, very sad. But also, it's going to be also something to do. I told you guys, Neptune, Saturn going to conjunct in Aries, and South Node and North Node and Saturn was conjuncting on the 24th in actually Pisces, which is obviously the death of the Pope. And I was talking about that 3 years ago, and I predicted it's going to be 2025, April and May, something around here. And it's going to change the structure of the Vatican. And yesterday, when I did the Mars and Pluto opposition video, I was talking about actually the Pope, can it be the last Pope? Or, what's going to happen? The structure is changing. And I was also talking about the fifth bishop, who is Hungarian, and father was, not father, grandfather actually was a rabbi. So are they going to actually, dissolve the borders between religions over here? What's going to happen over here? But, for example, the Vatican or any kind of Orthodox institutions during this time could be actually pressured to acknowledge anything to do with Mary Magdalene also, or, anything to do with female leaders, right? And also during this time, I would think, because of Venus is in Pisces over here, I would think that it's going to be revealed a lot of issues with the Vatican as well, like, because they are pedophiles, they abuse young children, not just little girls, but many times the Vatican actually is abusing little boys, right? So it's going to come out, and it's going to come to the surface as well. And, it could be also like anything to do with tarot or astrology or goddesses and temples, they're going to get some kind of institutional protection somehow, or it could be like we're going to have some kind of documentaries or some kind of non-fiction movies like Avatar or whatever, but we're going to have Inanna, or, like any kind of mythological figure or priestesses or goddesses in those kind of movies there. So that could bring that out. And it is actually a very, very good energy here. But, also because of we do have the Mars and Pluto opposition during this time, exactly when we have the new moon over here. And for example, the truth teller, public females could get censored even me, I am a truth teller over here, at least, a lot of people say your truth. Yeah, but yes, I can be biased, guys. Of course, I'm human. I'm not even technology could be biased, or AI could be biased as well. It depends what they feed into it. But on the other hand, I really try to stay in the silver lining, and I always check both of the sides. Even I never been actually Democrat and or Republican. I always was independent all in my life, because I don't think so. You have to choose a color or a party or whatever. I think you have to go for the greater good, and always serve, like the people, and help. And so I'm not going to be dogmatic and, rigidly, attached to something but doesn't work anymore. I'm not just that person. But so I always try to when I was reading about the Middle East, I went into it all the time, and, learned about history. And so there is a lot of knowledge I try to actually expose and also talk about over here. But yes, it could be some kind of censorship of the divine, not even divine. I don't call myself divine, but a public female who is a truth teller, for example, a whistleblower. So it could be like someone maybe going to get killed who is a whistleblower. Why not? And it's a female figure, right? Because of we also have asteroid karma in Leo, and it's squaring with the moon, so it could be some kind of karmic blowback, right? Because somebody is exposing the truth, and because of explosion, it could be abuse or injustice. You know who I think of that? I think of Candice Owen over here, because of Candice is right now is I was very mad at Candice Owen for a while, and actually I unsubscribed from her. I like her open mind, and she's trying to, she's really trying to investigate. And but then the whole entire support for Trump without any logic, sometimes I was like, oh my God, how can you be so blind about him, And and if you are a Trump supporter, I also understand that, why not? I mean, if you believe in him or believe he will do a good change, like, God bless you. But right now, what I see with Candice Urban, so I subscribe again, because she is really into, like, okay, let me actually discover and uncover the truth over here. And he's not biased anymore. She, and she is doing her research. She's in every kind of subject over here. Of course, she is blamed to be anti-Semite and black haters and whatever, but she really just doing her researches and talking about that, and her voice is not shaken. She's a very brave woman. So I could see something. She will get some kind of injustice or abuse on her social media platform, something like that, some kind of censorship, some kind of the takedowns, Definitely, I see that. The feminine David, against, Goliath over here in this story. And yes, and definitely it could be someone who is a journalist, or an astrologer bent. Um, Maybe because of they talk about unfairness and injustice and sexual abuse or pedophilia. So that's why I really think it's Candice Owen going to be. All right. And then what else we have to, also Taurus is anything to do with financial institution, right? And digital currency as well, Uranus in Taurus. So it could actually bring some kind of instability in digital currency, because Uranus is in fall over here. And because Venus is exalted in Pisces, and Venus can spend a lot of money in its exaltation, and Pisces ruled by Neptune, which is actually inflation, right? So you can see the chaos over here, for example, invisible wealth. that is the digital currency over there. And we might going to actually learn about that, which is going to be shocking because of Venus going to meet Uranus over here, right? Actually, Venus and Uranus is sextiling during this time as well, during this new moon. And for example, Uranus is shock and Venus is the value of the money over here. But because of Uranus not necessarily a good planet over here, it could be something, really, really like an earthquake, like shocking. So that's why it could actually shaking, tremor, shaking, which could actually shaken the whole entire currency world, the financial sectors, for example. Um, Anything to do with banking systems, right? So, for example, Uranus is also hacking, and because Pluto is in Aquarius, which is also ruled by Saturn and Uranus, obviously it could bring in some kind of issues with hacking, or it could also bring in some kind of regulation as well. And also what we have to talk about that, it is the decentralization and is it ethical or not, because that's why they want to centralize cryptocurrency so they know how much money people have, because cryptocurrency is really, really good for money laundering if you think about that, right? Because if you don't know really the data over here, unless if you are a hacker, but also there could be, for example, Argentina, Greece, Kenya, they have a lot of debt, and America has trillions of debt as well. But right now it's going to be revealed how much debt the countries have, and then it could lead to civil unrest because of the people didn't know about that and they start to protest against the government. So you can see some kind of change in Greece, Argentina, in not South African, but African countries as well. Yeah, so, and also because of the government going to impose some kind of new control with crypto wallets or, even with PayPal alternatives or tax PayPal more than it's before, then it could be actually lead to some kind of mass resistance. And what else could be, because of Taurus's herbal medicine and supplements and sacred food as well, it could actually create some kind of return to, for example, herbalism and seasonal knowledge, because we don't want to rely on big pharma anymore. Big pharma going to be in trouble anyway later on. And yeah, so that could be, a beginning of to return to sacred medicine, for example. Anything to do with alchemy, like global witchcraft, but it's not going to be a witchcraft, but global witchcraft, which is like, all right, let's see what's gonna happen. Let's learn herbalism. Or they actually in hospitals, they're going to hire herbalists. I'm a clinical herbalist and I can be hired in hospitals, but they most going to be rely on herbalists, for example. So that could be actually a beautiful outcome of this moon, even if the sky is still heavy, right? But also there is going to be a lot of backlash against big pharma. And because of Venus is anything to do with in Pisces weight loss medicine, we want to be beautiful, and also some kind of creams or beauty products. And maybe they're going to have a lot of side effects right now because Pluto and Mars is opposing and Mars is rash, or some kind of major side effect with palpitation, with heart blockage because of its circulation, Mars as well. Tremors, whatever, and especially because of the weight loss medicine could create actually tremors. So, it could be some kind of lawsuit against those products as well. And it also could bring in some kind of public heartbreak, some kind of betrayal for famous people, for example. It could be actually a female right now, but also we were talking about yesterday, the king is falling, and there will be three people, three leaders who going to fall from power. But I think, and for example, because of we can talk about the EU and also the UN as well. For example, the UN is exposed for quietly approving weapon shipments to nations it's supposed to sanction, especially involving conflict with Palestine, Sudan, or Yemen, something like that. And the EU also could actually be accused of blocking refugee support as well. So also it could be something like, a person going to say, hey, I'm going to actually have this kind of, a leader area, which is like, could be Middle East, but, and I want to have ceasefire, I advocate for ceasefire, but secretly they are actually behind the scene are actually supporting warfare because of they are prosper out from that, right? So, and it's also because of it is Venusian energy and the moon also, the Venus also in Pisces. It is anything to do with documentary movies, right? Which is going to show the feminine resilience in wars or with illnesses as well. So it's going to really, really magnify the power of the feminine over here. Yes, and it could be some kind of issues with the livestock, for example, or dairy product and cattle as well. So because of, we have the Mars and Pluto opposition, there could be some kind of disease, which is with this lunation, especially the next half year, which is going to actually decrease the meat production or the dairy production. And the moon is also lactation, right? It is also ruled, and especially with Venus, it's oxytocin and prolactin in the body, So actually colostrum as well. So there could be definitely something with dairy, some kind of, and because of Venus is in Pisces and Pisces ruled by Neptune, Neptune is anything to do with virus. And also because of Venus is sextiling Uranus, which is bacteria, definitely it could trigger some kind of disease over here. All right, guys, and then we're going to talk about each individual sign over here. Going to start with Aries rising as usual, and actually it's going to happen the new moon in your second house, which is your self-worth, money, possession, and earned income, right? So anything to do with a new freelance opportunity going to arise for you, and you are going to be capable actually, demand respect for yourself, and your self-worth is going to grow because of you going to have more self-value as well. It could be also some kind of family heirlooms, right? Anything to do with ancestral wealth coming to you, for example, during this new moon, which is passed on. It could be a jewelry, a beautiful jewelry from your grandmother, which is worth a lot, or an artwork from the grandparents, which worth a lot. And you're definitely going to feel shift how you nourish yourself, right? It's not going to be a scarcity anymore. You're going to have saving, and you're also going to investing wisely during this time. And if you actually want to launch something with a product line, anything to do with, which is rooted in compassion, beauty, or art, there is some kind of sacred skills which could be a side hustle for you, or it could bring in money on a long term. Taurus rising sun and moon, it's going to be in your first house, my dears, and that is anything to do with your identity, the mask what you wear in public, your self-definition. It is a rebirth in here. So you can go through some kind of drastic style, or also body transformation. You can get something like tattoos, or you might go into but definitely I feel like you will be more like, if you see the series Grace and Frankie, like Frankie, it is very spiritual and very artistic, right? So you're going to become very, very feminine, and you're going to use a lot of jewelries right now, and your clothes going to be flowy. Even if you are a male, there is going to be a lot of feminine color you're going to start to wear. And you're also going to be able to let go of some kind of grief, and start a healing journey. And in public role, you can get a leadership opportunity, some kind of title. Maybe you're going to get married during this half year. Gemini rising sun and moon, it's going to happen in your 12th house, which is isolation, spiritual retreat, the underprivileged, subconscious, a hidden enemy, and karmic endings. It's your eternal womb, dreams, dreamland. So you're going to have incredibly vivid dreams. And it could be about something about femininity or your ancestors, great grandmother. They can help you to write a book. You're going to download a lot of information. And also, it could be something to do with secrets or hidden dynamic. Maybe you are having some kind of secret affairs, or maybe you are working behind the curtain. Maybe you are a nurse, or you can become actually leader of a hospital during this time, or you can actually be leader in orphanages, or actually take on to some kind of a child, for example, adopt a child as well during this time. But also you can go to retreats, which is healing your addiction, and those kind of things, or artistic, write a script, for example, or do work on your music, or taking a photographic school. Cancer rising sun and moon, it's going to happen in your 11th house. And the 11th house, actually, anything to do with community networks, vision for the futures, anything to do with your social causes, right? It is also money from your career. So it could be like a female-led community or women's circle invites you in, and it becomes your healing village. And it could be also like an old friendship going to fall away, but because it's you outgrown it, or it softens, and actually you don't want to be detached. You want to be detached from them. And right now, a new one is coming into your life with the moment the other one is forced away. Also, you are capable to decide to go public with your ideas, anything to do with online platforms, maybe doing an application, a software. And also, it could be like you can actually do some kind of non-profit with art for children or for the underprivileged as well during this time. Leo rising sun and moon, it's going to happen in your 10th house, which is career, public image, legacy, and authority. Anything to do actually with, like, you don't want to become soft, for example, if you are in public role. It could be like you are offered a role, but you are not ready, for example. And it could be also some kind of toxic work hierarchy right now, but it will collapse. And you're going to be called to have to rebuild something which is going to be based on ethical leadership. And then also an old dream of becoming some kind of, guide for you. You can also have someone who is a mentor coming into your life during this time, or you are capable to step up like a mentor for someone. And you can also confront a family expectation also, because you want to choose success right now and honor. Virgo rising sun and moon is going to happen in your 9th house, and 9th house, anything to do with your older siblings, long distance traveling, publishing, spiritual expansion, YouTubing, higher learning, and the truth and export import business as well. So you can actually take on to a trip to a sacred land, anything to do with a bucket list tip. Also you can return to your roots as well. And it could catalyze some kind of ancestral healing as well. And you can finally also decide, all right, I'm publishing my book, or, I'm starting a course over here, or publishing my course over here, starting my YouTube channel, because I've been sitting on knowledge and, right now it's time to share with others. And you can also become a mentor for others, or you can have an elder woman as a guidance and mentor for you who going to help you to shift your entire belief system. And you can abandon actually a dogma, some kind of inherited philosophy that does not fit whatsoever, and if you want to set free yourself from that kind of belief. Libra rising, sun and moon, it's going to happen in your eighth house. And eighth house is your shared resources, intimacy, transformation, depth, and inheritance. It's all the taboos, also miscarriage. It could be also, tax refund. It could be abortion, surgeries. Like trauma, detective, like investigation, researches as well. So you receive some kind of unexpected financial help if you want to, and it could actually become and comes with, but, because of the financial help is coming from someone who would be obsessed with you, eighth house, right? It is going to be attached to some kind of emotional string. And also, it could be like some kind of shift and dramatic shift in an intimate relationship. Maybe a separation going to unfold. Maybe because of they want to force you to sign a prenup before wedding, and you said, okay, so I'm not going to do that. Or you can actually get some kind of healing through a therapist and something about sexual shame or some kind of past life trauma or some kind of past life or childhood trauma over here. So definitely you don't want to be controlled anymore and you want to set yourself free. Also, you can pay off credit cards debt or mortgage during this time as well, or start to learn about stock market. Scorpio rising sun and moon is going to happen in your seventh house. That is your mirror, soulmate, contracts, relationship. It is the clients actually from social media. So, and open enemies as well, guys, and alliances. So a new connection going to enter your life. And it feels really karmic and very familiar, and it will feel very distinct to you. But you also going to be able to leave a relationship which is actually unworthy. And it could be like, all right, this is a sacred breakup. I feel liberated. It is a blessing endings. And someone from your past could return, but it could be past life as well, going to give you, a hand and help you to succeed. It could be like a new partnership with someone. Definitely, you're going to redefine your any kind of relationship with other people. And during this time, legal matter could be over, which is turning for your favor as well, because that is legal matter, and you can bring in peace. Or also, you can also have an engagement or a wedding planned right now in half year. You will actually have your married. You're gonna get married. Sagittarius rising, sun and moon, it's going to happen in our sixth house. Sixth house is work, health, anything to do with retail, service, anything to do with your small pets, your landlord, your co-workers, your actually soulmate as well. And so over here, something to do with your body, with, you can get devoted to some kind of new health routine. And it could be also art. You're gonna start to do a Zumba class, which I started right now. That's why I'm saying that examples, because I want to lose money through dancing. I love to dance, this is my favorite things to do. So I mean, or something to heal through art and art therapy as well, or singing, for example. You can open a studio, a yoga studio, a gym, a membership. You can actually hire people right now in your business, someone who really devoted to you, someone who has a lot of compassion toward what you are doing and truly want to help. But it could be also some kind of burnout, or you feel like you are betrayed because there is some kind of chronic health issues. And don't forget, Taurus also rules vocal cords and hormones as well, thyroids as well. So it could be some kind of thyroid issue over here, right? And careful with that. Or if you are on weight loss medicine, careful of the side effect of weight loss medicines, for example. And if you have pets, because of Mars and Pluto opposing, careful with your pets for the next 2 weeks at least. Capricorn rising, Sun and Moon, it's going to happen in your fifth house, guys. And fifth house, anything to do with joy, pleasure, creativity, romance, and children, and also it's lottery and investment. You guys might going to actually exalted moon over here win the lottery, right? It could be like a Powerball over here. Oh, good for you. All right, so what else could happen? It could be like a breakup with a romantic partner because Uranus also travels over here, or something is coming out actually because maybe you had a secret lover and you are in a marriage or in a committed relationship. But also, it could bring in some kind of magical healing through art and creativity. You might going to write a poem, a script, a lyrics, and which is going to have healing power over here. Or maybe you're going to get pregnant, or your partner going to get pregnant during this time as well. And definitely there is like you're going to actually redefine what pleasure really means for you. Maybe because of you were grieving, or there is a post heartbreak, and right now you fully understand what is truly joy means for you. Area Aquarius rising, Sun and Moon, it's going to happen in your fourth house, and fourth house anything to do with your family roots, your ancestors, your homeland, emotional foundation, the living situation, and real estate. So you actually can move or renovate your house, or you reclaim your space, uh, and you can create some kind of sacred sanctuary, something. Maybe you're going to buy very expensive arts, or you will feel like, okay, I want to paint the whole entire home. Um, if there is some kind of family tension surfaces right now, you want to create peace through love in your family. Maybe you're gonna go to therapists together. There could be also, some kind of ancestral stories. Maybe you're going to do your family tree, and you're going to actually find out one of your ancestors was a healer, or a famous person in the family line. Or, really, you can find out your mother actually not your mother. You've been raised by your mother's sister, who you thought it's your biological mother, but it's not. So anything to do with that as well. But definitely there could be a moving and a renovation for you guys. And then Pisces rising, Sun and Moon is going to happen in your third house, which is familiarity and communication, siblings, aunt, uncles, nephews, nieces, neighbors, local life, anything to do with learning, teaching, and primary schools, and your vehicles as well. So it could be like a conversation with a sibling, an old friend, or with the neighbor could become some kind of unexpected healing over here. So you might have some kind of, fallout with a neighbor, and right now you're going to reconnect, or with a sibling. And you begin also learning something, and it could be something to do with you going to do some kind of herbalism course, or something to do with ceramics or gardening, or you're going to buy hydroponic gardens, and have your lettuces in there, and But also you can start some kind of ritual, which is going to become really, really strong during this half year. And it could be a beauty ritual also, or you're going to become beautifully polished, or you're going to write, for example, a love story, or you know what, you might going to write actually a remedy book, something to do with herbalism, astro-herbalism, or actually teaching astro-herbalism. I have my son in Pisces, and I just finished my medical astrology astro-herbalism course, guys. So you can buy that, reach out for me if you would like to, and if you would like to know about that. But that is something what you can do. And the speech, because you're going to stay authentic, you know, it's feminine leaders rising. And even if they want to actually silence us, even when our voice is actually shaking, we're going to still bring the truth. And Pisces, you are one who is mystical and capable to do that. And you know, for example, anything to do with, maybe you're just going to open your house up for praying groups or chanting books, or chanting groups as well. But also it could bring, like, okay, with my friends I'm gonna go for moonlight walks, you know, and I create a community during this time. All right, guys, thank you so much actually for staying here with me right now and until now. But we also going to actually do a meditation. But I also want to say some rituals for this new moon. If you want to actually do some kind of rituals, you can actually write a wealth worth letter for yourself, right? Because of Taurus is abundance, and Taurus wants actually to bring in luxury and comfort in our life. You can also use, for example, oil, and it have to be something to do with rose or patchouli oil or ylang ylang, for example, during this new moon. You can activate your throat chakra, and you can use turquoise, for example, not afraid to speak and speak out loud and speak in the mirror, practice some kind of mirror work over here. And if you want to actually have an altar, you know, you can include crystals with rose quartz, emerald, and jade. And you can also put some kind of honey or coin as well over there on your altar when you are doing actually a meditation. Or you can also do the moon water outside. And even if it's a new moon and you don't see the silver rays of the moon, right, because it's dark during this time, you're still capable. The activation it's still worth, because of, you know, the energy of the moon is still going to you know, affect your moon water, for example. And whoever feels this new moon and this opposition the most, we were talking about that those are the fixed signs: Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio, and Taurus. We were talking about that. And because of the moon is going to happen at 6 degrees, so you count back actually 5 degrees and have 5 degrees, but really between 4 and 8 degrees in those fixed signs, if you have any planet, you're going to really feel that. And also, I would say between 1 to 13 degrees, people going to feel that with fixed signs rise. And check your Venus. Where is your Venus actually? Because of this is the Taurus moon. Is your Venus actually detriment, exalted, or in rulership? Or what's happening with your Venus? Because that's going to be really, really important for you as well. All right, so make sure you say affirmations like, I'm worthy, okay? And I'm worthy for pleasure and peace. And my value is not in what I produce, but in who I am. So those are really great affirmations during this time. Okay, guys, so if you would like to stay with me during the meditation, and I'm gonna try to time stamp as well. I always upload the video, and I mean within 12 hours I'm gonna try to timestamp. But obviously, if you looking that right away, and if you see your sign, just put the timestamp below, and I appreciate that because it's easier than for me. All right, so Find a comfortable place, all right, guys? And you can put some kind of music on, and very, very quiet music. For example, let me see if everything is, uh, my phone is off, all right. And we're going to actually create a space for this Taurus new moon right now. Sit down or lay down and take a deep breath. Inhale, exhale. You're going to do it for the count of 4. Inhale for 4, keep it in for 4, and exhale slowly. All right. The sun is low, melting itself into the edge of the horizon, turning the sky the color of ripe peaches and warm clay. Shadows stretch long across the golden meadow, where the grass sways like silk skirts in a soft dance. You are barefoot, standing still in the quiet. There's no rush here, only rhythm, only breath. Breathe in for the count of 4, keep it in for 4, and exhale it for slow 4. Somewhere behind the hills, a dog barks, not loud, just enough to remind you there's a village nearby. The scent of earth is thick in the air, dirt worn by daylight, no cooling under the breeze that carries the faint perfume of white sage, jasmine, and something sweet. A bell chimes from the small church tower, just once. It's the sound that says the sun has kissed the edge. Not yet night, not quiet day, the holy middle. The cattle are calm now. Some lie down. A few blink slowly as dragonflies skim past their ears. A doe and her fawn step into view at the forest edge, careful and elegant. Above them, birds begin their slow flight across the sky, softening the indigo. You hear the gentle whir of hummingbirds in the tall hibiscus nearby. A family of rabbits rustle through the low brush, posing in moonflower shadows. And then fireflies, like stars rising from the grass before they rise from the sky. You sit, and when your skin meets the soil, you feel it, the pulse of peace. It doesn't speak, it doesn't push, it just holds. A toucan calls in distance, echoing like a question from another world. You watch the stars appear one by one until the Milky Way spears across the velvet sky, a holy parade of light and mystery. In your lap, a piece of charcoal and sketchpad. On your fingers, clay. On your breath, lavender. Around you, the music of frogs, breeze, and night birds. You don't need to do. You are rooted, whole, soft. Here, the new moon doesn't ask for intention. It offers permission to be quiet, to be held, to be real. Somewhere behind you, someone plays a soft rhythm on a hand drum. The sounds blends with the beat of your own heart, and the word slows even more. And you remember, this is what Taurus knows. Not in the mind, but in the bones, skin, soil, and soul. And now take a long, slow inhale through the nose. Feel the air as it moves through you, carrying the scent of earth, wood smoke, of the rain that hasn't fallen yet. Let your exhale fall into the soul beneath you as if your breath could be absorbed by the land like water soaking into thirsty roots. You feel your spine align with the trees. You feel your heartbeat echoed in the hoofs of the deer, in the wings of dragonflies, in the blink of fireflies. Above you, stars like stories, constellation like spells. Below you, the great womb of earth, holding you without conditions. You are not lost. You are not late. You are not broken. You are becoming quietly, steadily, like moss on stone, like the moon being reborn in the velvet sky. Let the breeze kiss your skin, let the bell chime in your bones. Let the distance bark remind you you are safe, you are home, you are loved. The new moon still holds no light, but you do. You are the seed, you are the soil, you are the sacred pause. Now, place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Feel the quiet power that lives inside you. Let yourself whisper, I am rooted, I am whole. I am allowed to rest. I am becoming new. Stay here as long as you need it, under the stars, on the breath of the earth, in your body, in your becoming. Take a long breath in, hold it for 4 seconds, and exhale. Breathe in, breathe out. And whenever you are ready, start to move your fingers, your toes, open your eyes, and welcome back. Thank you so much to stay with me, guys, to be with me here and supporting my journey. I might not know you in person, but we are definitely connected spiritually. My beautiful wise tribe, I appreciate all of you, and I see you soon in a new video. Bye for now.